Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Professionals You Should Know. This show is about uncovering the journeys of professionals from different industries. And today, we have the innovative and ingenious Daryl Brown, who is a qualified architect. Thank you for coming. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Anytime. So, what is it that you do?
I am an architect.
Okay.
I've been a qualified architect since I believe I finished my third university degree from the University of Westminster in 2021. Yes.
Third university.
Yes. So
how did it work?
to achieve qualification, as in to be a chartered architect as a part of the Architects Registration Board, commonly known as the ARB, you need to have an undergrad, a master's, and a postgraduate diploma in architecture. All three of those are individual university degrees.
Oh, wow.
Anyone can join the undergraduate degree, which is typically a 3-year course.
Yeah.
To be allowed to join the master's degree, you need at least 1 year of professional experience, which is why you'll typically hear when you meet an architect that they've been to university for 10 years.
10 years.
I did a 3-year degree, undergrad. I worked for 2 years professionally outside of university. I went back to university for 2 years to get my master's degree. I needed to do at least one more additional year of professional practice, and then a course that lasts about a year. Yeah. To be a chartered architect. So I am on a register of architects. Yeah.
Wow.
Which is where then there can come statistics with it, etc. How many architects come from London? How many architects are Black Caribbean origins, etc. Because we are all registered and communally have achieved the same standard of education.
Is that when it's like RIBA one?
RIBA is almost a communal club or a knowledge base of professionals who came together to make their own authority or organization. That's not law or legal. It's more like a members club.
Oh,
the most popular members club that is a collaboration of British architects. ARB, Architects Registration Board, is a legal body.
Oh,
as in you have to be approved by the ARB to even use the word architect. It's a protected term. Were you to go about saying I'm an architect and you haven't done the same level of education as me, you could be sued because you're technically lying. It's like saying you're a doctor when you're not.
Wow.
People will it's in the realms of calling it a protected term. It's like saying I'm a legally responsible person. If I walk into a construction site and I say I'm an architect, I'm expected to know about this much. If you walk into a hospital and you say you're a doctor, you will be treated like a doctor. So if you don't know and you're using their name in vain, then you're breaking the law. Yeah.
Wow. So why architecture? What?
I think I kind of from a young age, and we're talking like year 6 in primary school. Look at SATs basically. You're getting 5, 6s or 7s depending on how well you're knocking out your exams. What are the subjects that you were excelling in? I was more so technically minded, so I was getting I believe it was 6s at that time. in maths, additional maths, all sciences, biology, chemistry, physics, and English literature more than English.
Right.
The reason I focus on English literature because I saw it as a artistic avenue. English literature is you're looking at art that's in the format of words. So I've always been a combination of a technically minded person who has a passion for art, artistic expression of people. Combine technical performance and artistic expression, and you're engineering something that's beautiful. It could be architecture. Architects are not just restricted to designing buildings or houses or schools. We can design anything. My first professional project out of uni was a sculptural stainless steel bench.
Oh, okay.
Imagine a pin in the ground with a ribbon tied to that pin, and it swooshes and swishes through the air until the end. In the swooshes and swooshes, it writes out the word ITV. And it sits in front of the ITV studios in Manchester.
And you created it?
And I was the designer for it, yes.
Wow.
I was scouted during my second year of uni because I taught myself the software and how to draw these organic curvature forms. And I would always be in the workshop because I want to be almost a sculptor at that time. I was trying to physically draw beautiful, creative, organic forms and then always trying to make them a reality, trying to build them, trying to showcase them. The guys in the workshop who already had a job. Basically, people would come to them because they know how to use industrial machinery, etc.
Right.
Like companies, design studios, etc. And they are just asked, "Oh, do you know anyone who is capable of helping us with this project?" And I'm in the workshop
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time doing all of my organic formations and sculptures and drawing them in 3D so that you could send the data to a machine to have it computer designed as
Oh
well.
my.
Yeah, computer aided design, CAD is the term.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. Oh, I see. So wait, what? So after I know, when you was in primary school,
Yeah.
you said you loved physics,
Yes.
maths. So then was that continue from like A levels and then?
I'd say 100%. GCSEs, 10 A's, 3 B's. Of the 10 A's, I think 4 of them were A star.
Okay.
Geography, maths, physics,
Physics.
art.
Wow.
yeah. The same culprits pop up again.
Yeah.
And A levels was four A2 levels. Yep. Maths, additional maths, physics, and art.
Always the same thing. So it's the technical and,
To the point of my A levels, it was my arts teacher who told me about the School of Architecture at UCL. So I had never heard of the Bartlett faculty or the tutors and the education in architecture. I wasn't aware it was 10 years. I discovered architecture via the art studio during my A levels, and it was almost kind of obvious to him. I was interested in making optical illusions, but with real sculptures. So most optical illusions you'll see now will be on a screen.
Yeah.
There'll be lights and formations. I was making the equivalent of a combination of 3-dimensional illusions, ways you can make cubes appear in planes.
Wow.
So you can walk around them and experience them. So through my art and technical approach using computer-aided design, etc., I was already messing around with space. I was producing spatial experiences in my art so that my exhibitions weren't things you stand and you look at. You have to walk through them. You have to go underneath them.
That's amazing.
And yeah, my tutor said that you're already generating 3-dimensional space in an artistic fashion. So you might as well make them larger, make them bigger. Go on a construction site and tell people how to make them.
Yeah, because you said architecture is not only just buildings.
It's consider yourself just a technical creative designer. Right. We could design a bookshelf. We could design the inside of a shop, not the building itself, just where the shelves go, where the chairs are, the lights. Architects design lights a lot of the time. Pendants, chandeliers, wall lanterns of alternative ways of refracting light through mirrors, etc., to bounce light in multiple ways. Architects do this as well as engineers. We can design anything. We are also legally allowed to design homes, things that people occupy.
Yeah, because that's what I thought you guys were mostly.
As I said, my first project was a very beautiful object to just sit on and chat.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look that one.
It still exists. I was brought on as a freelance designer for Kin Design Studios. I believe they're based in Farringdon. That was my first design professional position, and I hadn't even finished my first degree. I was in second year.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just working in a workshop which was spacious. I was visible.
Yeah.
The world could see what I was doing, and they asked, "Do you want to try?" And you just say yes.
Yeah.
If someone invites you into a design studio and gives you a chair and a computer and says, do what you always do.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna make it after you've drawn it. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna draw it as the level of intricacy that I went into is the word that keeps popping up every job interview I've ever gone into. They use the word meticulous.
Yeah.
If you were to look at my portfolio, you can see my attention to detail doesn't bother me. Again, as the term I say, I'm not trying. This is it's just me. It's as in I wouldn't be happy if it wasn't meticulous. Yeah, this is my nature.
Wow.
Yeah.
So who do you feel that appreciates your work the most? Is it like colleagues, or is it like, bystanders? Who do you think that really appreciates?
I've always thought the way I see it. So currently, practicing as an architect, I am responsible for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individual buildings. 5 of them are in very close proximity to Southeast London, Old Kent Road.
Okay.
For those who are more familiar with it, I would say in close proximity to specifically the 381 or the P12 bus routes.
Right.
These are both the two buses that I used to get to school. So I went to St. Thomas Apostle College in Nunhead. And I was coming from South Bermondsey, Canada Water area, etc. On this bus route, I would pass all of these sites, and these sites have histories of being scrap yards, tire yards, rundown shopping centers, or warehouses for storing strange tools, etc.
Yeah.
Wood workshops, etc. So these things they have always been an industrial past, and now I can say, and this is, let's say my career currently is spanning approximately 12 years in terms of from when I first touched a computer to do something that was outside of university. In the last 3 years, I will be responsible for 250 plus 58 plus 167 here. No, 267. So we're approaching 700 beds for people to sleep in.
Jeez.
In my day-to-day work. Wow. As in, these places never previously existed.
Wow.
So if we're saying 15 years ago I was a kid, I was a child,
yeah,
on a bus on the way to school, now the routes that I'm taking, there will be at least 1,000 more people who can occupy those spaces which they previously couldn't. Wow. So I'm providing, the way I always kind of think of it is, if you were to ask the council, they refer to it as habitable rooms.
Yeah.
They look at a 3-bed 4 flat as there's 3 bedrooms and there's a living room, so there's 4 habitable rooms. These rooms never existed before, especially if they're on the 12th floor. Previously, the 12th floor was just air, just space. There's nothing up there. And now I'm producing places where kids will grow up. Kids will learn to walk.
Yeah.
Children will be potty trained. Daughters will learn how to cook from their mothers. People will learn how to program and use computing in the same way I did. I used to sit on the bottom bunk of my bunk bed, surrounded by my brothers, and I would do stuff like take apart toys to figure out how to re-engineer them and stuff. I always think there's like I was a child once, and I needed a place to stay. I'm just saying, within the last 3 years, contributed approaching 1,000 homes across the city that I was raised in for children who look like me, sound like me, come from where I come from, to also have a very comfortable place to grow up in and learn and replace me when I'm gone.
Yeah. And what's your process like of like designing a building? Are you looking for anything in particular, or
it's a bit like so I used to work in some of the larger firms.
Right.
I say I'm born and raised in Southeast London. The larger firms would do loads of projects in New York City. Manhattan, okay. China, is it Taiwan, Vietnam?
Wow. So all international.
Dubai, yes. International design, massive projects, competitions, etc. Currently, in the firm that I work in, 90%, 95% of my projects are in London.
Right. Okay.
So at the moment, I have almost a personal affinity for the work I'm doing, because people always use the term "not in my backyard."
Yeah.
I'm an architect, so I'm saying, if it has to be in my backyard, at least let me draw it.
Yeah.
I'm taking responsibility for the areas that I pass through or used to pass through every single day.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about who benefits from it, I kind of care.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I'm obviously, you don't get your emotions tangled into your
of course.
But if a developer comes and buys a site, there will be an architect who will draw something.
Right.
I'm saying if you were to give it to me, at least I would care.
Yeah.
Regardless of the financial condition of it, the price of the building, the methods to procure it, the methods to construct it, the materials used. If you drop all of that, from the very base principle, I care about the quality of the product, and I want people to grow up here in the same way that I used to.
And do you feel that they appreciate you a lot as well? Or
it's one of those, it's almost unspoken. It's
right.
It'll never be written.
It'll
never be written on the contract. The architect needs to care.
Yeah.
It'll come across in how I present my work. If there's, we've got a floor plan and there's 7 flats on the floor. If that bedroom, that column's just slightly in the way and it's jutting out, I will tell you until we find a solution to it, because it's somebody has to sleep there, and somebody will watch the TV there. That TV could be here, or it could be pressed out. Why does it have to be pressed out? We can increase the quality of their life for 12 to 17 years in that one room if we make a decision now around this table.
Man.
And then structural engineers will either change the profile of the column, budget into a wall, or we just move the flat around as best we can, etc. And then when the person moves in, they don't even know that the structure exists.
So do you work really closely to the structural engineers?
Yeah, so you could consider me almost a design coordinator. So from planning stage and in RIBA terms, we have a process of getting from literally a sketch on paper, a stage 1 of the design process, to a stage 5, which is the contractors on site and we're building it.
Right, okay.
From stage 1, 2, 3, etc., it would be very much architect to client, 1-to-1. We're trying to figure out what you want.
Right.
When we get to stage 3, 4, and 5, there will be mechanical engineers and structural engineers sitting at the table once a week at least, and then we'll be trying to figure out how can we give them what they want whilst working together. And I'm sitting at the table the whole time, from 1 to 5 to 6 to 7. 6, 7 would be more so handover, do the doors work, what needs to be repaired, who's responsible for keeping the lights on and changing the boiler when it breaks down, etc. Stuff like that. The architects from 1 to the very end. So I'm almost like as long as you got an architect who actually is attentive, meticulous to detail, cares about the quality of the outcome, you will have these wrestling matches with all of the other consultants to make sure that the
end result is
as beautiful as it can be. Yeah.
And is there any kind of misconception to the role? Again, one of the misconceptions, I thought you just only do buildings, but is there any other misconceptions to your profession?
Probably be like just a test. Name an architect. None. Is most like kids and stuff. I say kids, 18-year-olds starting first day at university, etc. They'll come in and there's a term we called star architects, as in the architects who are superstars, etc. And they'll name Zaha Hadid, they'll name Norman Foster, they'll name Peter Zumthor, etc. One person. I say that I work in an architecture practice and I have contributed to, in my career, probably approaching 2,000 to 3,000 new homes across London, across England, etc. But my firm has at least 35 people. Norman Foster's firm has approaching 300 people. It's and that's an international firm, so he has studios across the planet in different countries, etc. In China, in New York, and in London. But when you see the Gherkin, or when you see the building, the new extension, Elizabeth Line Crossrail station at Canary Wharf, for example, they'll say that's a Norman Foster building. They don't see, or at least they may not appreciate the at least 700 other characters that were responsible for putting that thing together. There's no shame in saying that is a Foster's building, for example. But it's I'm talking to the layperson now in terms of someone who is not in the industry, and doesn't study architecture at all, or is aware of architects, for example. There's an appreciation you could have for a new tower introduced to the city, by thinking that if that tower is 40 stories tall, then there's times about 100, 4,000 humans who are responsible for putting it there. So and it's almost as in to say every building is more beautiful than it just looks, because it also is a representation of collaboration of human beings to put something together that previously wasn't there, and it will now stand up. So the misconception is that only one person is recognized for that. Architecture isn't a one-man show. Every architect is a team. I didn't think about that. Because you wouldn't think that. You go into an architecture practice, there will most time be no more than 3 one-man names or surnames above the door, like a law firm, for example. There's loads of people behind that door.
Okay. Alright, that makes sense. And is there any stories that reconfirm that this is definitely a profession that I love and I want to continue to be in? Just one.
That's what I'm thinking.
It could be. I know you mentioned about your ITV.
My first project.
The first project could be one, but something of that nature to say that, you know what, I actually really like what I do, and I'm changing, or bringing something.
The first project that I worked on that completed construction was on Amelia Street, which is one road off of Walworth Road. And I believe that's in the order of 40 to 60 beds.
Wow.
40 to 60 flats. So
Right.
more than 40 to 60
Yeah.
beds, 100, approaching 200 bed spaces, etc. And growing up, going to school in Peckham and stuff, I'm from unfortunately from the knife crime generation. I'm from the gang culture generation of you had to look over your shoulder before you go to the bus after school, etc. Walworth Road wasn't a place that I could go to. And it's like saying I left secondary school and the next time I went to Walworth Road, I was going onto a construction site for a building that I was, again, partially responsible for, because I worked with a team. It wasn't a one-man job. I am not the owner of this building. I'm not the single soul that put it together, but I contributed to something. And it's I contributed to something that was never there. And it's also, as I'm making my references to South East London, it wasn't there in an area that I wouldn't have been comfortable to walk down as a child. And now, because there's bed spaces there's places for people to stay, be comfortable, places that people are actually aiming to go to after school. That's a place I used to avoid after school. So I'm flipping the table. I'm changing the scenario. I'm almost making a safe haven of the places that I used to run from. Yeah.
So that's one of your that's the kind of story that
It's an impact that I believe I can be proud of. And the longer I stay in this career, the more elements like that, the more parts of this city that I would have had an alteration, a part of. And again, when I'm long gone, that building's still going to be standing there for a good minimum 50, approaching 200 years, etc. We'll see what renovations look like and stuff.
How long does a building normally?
It depends. It depends on the systems you put in it. And again, this don't ever see a building as limited to its final product.
Right.
The most permanent part of a building would be its concrete frame.
Okay.
But were you to, for example, a building to become run down, let's insert the equivalent of a council estate today in modern terms, of a concrete frame with steel frames supporting CP board, aluminium composite windows, non-combustible insulation, and a cavity brick wall, etc.
Right.
Everything I've said other than the concrete frame can be taken off.
Okay.
That building can be reverted into an office. It could be reverted into student accommodation. It could be made into a shopping center. It could be made into a multi-story car park if you want to.
Oh wow. Okay.
Without having to take down the concrete.
Right.
So we're talking, from the building you're actually looking at, minimum of 99 years. And I'm just basing that on terms of leaseholdership in mortgages that you can get on the flats nowadays. 99 to 135, 150 years, etc. After that, when all of those leases end and all of those people won't even be with us anymore, etc., were the owner of that land to want to change this building entirely, you could take all of the pieces off, like a Lego, etc., and leave the most permanent piece in the center and then completely change what it is.
So do you design in that regards to say, okay, maybe now it's like this, but in say 100, 200 years, I want to change it like this?
100%, yeah. Some of the buildings that I'm currently working on have a portion that are 100% student accommodation based.
Right.
So it would appear to you and me like a hotel. Long corridors of room. Except in this case, there is a shared kitchen situation, a lounge room, etc., where they can cook meals or have access to tall fridge freezers, etc. So it doesn't have to be in their bedroom.
Right.
Were you to gut out those floors and remove everything, you could revert any floor level of a student accommodation building into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 flats.
Okay.
2-bedroom-ish. Or you could cut them out entirely and make them into very large and spacious offices. With very minimal regular columns, etc., structures in your way, partitions, etc. The drainage, the penetrations through concrete, etc. If you're making them for a student accommodation, so we're saying there's a bedroom with a bathroom, with its own bathroom every 4 meters at least. That means that the flexibility of that building is insane. You could insert a new kitchen or a new bathroom every 4 meters of a building that's let's say 20 meters long, etc. The amount of arrangements internally that you could achieve is almost unlimited.
Okay.
So the flexibility of the buildings that I'm drawing now, the client shouldn't be very worried if we're giving them a student accommodation of 250 bed spaces, etc. 40, 50 years from now, I would say that university doesn't even exist anymore. They could just wipe all the partition walls out, remove all the bathrooms, start again.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's very versatile, your
Yeah,
role. And, you know, you would never think about that.
It's one of the misconceptions. You see a building standing and you assume that that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
We'd have to take the whole thing down.
Yeah.
No.
Cranes, you know. Nah.
Yeah, you can change the entire external shell of a building without taking it down. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, see, you wouldn't know that until you have a
Yeah, you think it's one way, even if it's brick, even if it's of masonry, heavy, robust materials.
Yeah.
All of these things are put on by hand. They can also be taken off without them falling, one at a time.
Sense.
Yeah, picked apart.
Okay, all right. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to the next part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's called rapid fire. It's
Okay.
just pick a choice. It's 3 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a choice, or yes or no.
Okay.
So for our first question,
Mm-hmm.
do you think architectural designs should prioritize functionality over aesthetics? It's yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So for our second question, do you lean towards sustainable and eco-friendly materials, or traditional materials that are durable and stood the test of time?
I would like to lean towards eco-friendly material as a preservation of the future of this planet. I believe the industry leans towards traditional trial and tested products.
Really?
Yes.
Ah.
It's if you're trying to get planning permission for something, you
Yeah.
have to satisfy a body of judges of the council of that borough, for example. And they will lean towards what we know and what we love and what has worked. And were I to propose something that is unfounded, not currently present in an area, the equivalent of space technology to them,
Yeah.
etc., you're going to have to fight to get it approved and almost earn the respect it deserves. Yeah, I already, as a designer, would respect stuff like cross-laminated timber, for example.
Right.
Throw away concrete entirely and let's go down. Let's make some more wooden buildings that are safe and non-combustible and 4 to 6 stories tall, etc. But then someone would say, but if I made it out of concrete, I could go 21 stories tall.
Okay.
I don't own the site. If it's your site and I could give you 120 flats, or I could give you 35.
Right, yeah.
How hard do I have to fight you to get you to come to my eco-friendly side? Yeah, I always, first thing I do, and not all architects do, but I would put forward an eco-friendly, spacious, no less than 3-bedroom units, like family homes.
Right.
The loveliest piece of architecture that can sit on the site. And the developer will say, how many can I have?
Right.
Realistically speaking now, we're just talking about how high can I make it before I upset someone.
Right.
And if this eco-friendly building is this tall, the acceptable building is going to be approximately that tall. If we're talking about profit margins, the land itself, the cost hasn't changed. The amount of flats you're selling is significantly different.
Right.
It's you can't hate the players or the game. It's I didn't offer the game.
Okay.
Were we to move to a country like Norway or somewhere in Scandinavia in general, the opportunities to explore the alternative are far greater, because the need for these large London's approaching overpopulation, for example. You get on any tube between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. and you'll see what overpopulation looks like. In places where they don't have this problem, they don't need to squeeze 100 flats into a site. Why would we, etc. How would I fill those flats, for example? But if you give me 36 absolutely lovely ones of a completely alternative construction method, it's if anything, we would sell these flats easier because we can tell people that they are of an eco-friendly construction method.
But you see what you're saying, it's becoming overpopulated. Mm-hmm. Is that only in like dense areas such as like, you know, London? There's this vast amount of land, say in England, but everyone wants to live in London.
It's entirely a factor of transport networks and connectivity.
Right.
You could, again, have the largest estate you want out in the countryside.
Yeah.
If you work at London Bridge, we have a problem.
Fair enough. And so for our last question, so do you get your architectural ideas, inspirations from visiting buildings or learning through studying arts?
I think I get it more just through people.
Okay.
Presentations from people who are trying to do what I'm doing. I'm not the only architect in the world, for example. Again, I make references to Norway and Scandinavia. I'm familiar with these communal projects of 40 people, laypersons of all different career paths, etc. They come together, put all their money into a pot, and hire a developer, a contractor, and an architect to design 40 homes. So let's say 50 people come together and they buy a completely flat field,
Right.
and they say, we're all going to live here in 2 years. There's
Right.
nothing there right now.
Right.
They design it
Okay,
with the assistance of an architect, etc.
okay.
These are things that are actively happening in other countries across the world.
Right.
These are people who living with their parents, etc., growing up 18, 19, 20, going through university studies, etc., to get their first job. They're not going to buy a house that pre-exists.
Yeah.
They're going to create an opportunity to make their home exactly the shape, color, size that they want.
Okay.
They can't afford it to do it themselves, so they come together with a collective of people, and we're all going to live in this large field. We're all going to put on meetings, etc., with appointed designer and make the most beautiful thing that we can. There are the reason I know this is because I've met the architects who have contributed to these projects, these schemes, these developments. I have not seen one in Zone 2 of London, for example.
Yeah.
It's you travel the world and you see what works, you see what people love, and then all I do is I come home and I see if I can bring it home with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be more of
Studying art.
That's where I was coming. That's where I was coming.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, studying art. Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
all right, fair enough.
I'm probably one of those architects that doesn't look too far into the past. I just stare bravely into the future.
I can tell by the eco-friendly and the sustainable future. Yeah, okay.
If you're going to do it, you might as well do it, right?
You're right, yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Especially because as we've discussed, I'm contributing to things that will stand for 150 years.
Yeah.
I don't know many humans who live 150 years,
yeah.
so I might as well leave something behind that is practically functional, comfortable, and people actually like, enjoy, relax within.
Yeah, no, I see that. So for our final questions, what do you think your biggest contribution is in helping society? I know you touched on it before about,
It's probably, how can I describe it? Let's say I'm a superhero. I'm like Batman.
Yeah.
Batman has loads of tools and gadgets that he typically uses himself. I'm an architect, so I provide a service for others. I'm not just drawing my own house and then I stop working. My job is to do the role of an architect on behalf of a client. So it's as if I'm Batman, but I'm giving my gadgets to others so that they can do amazing things. I provide a service to people who don't know how to design, don't know how to draw, wouldn't be comfortable communicating with a council, for example. I will be in the same meeting with them, and I will almost translate their ambitions to a council of judges to explain in context, in terms of social context, financial context, the benefits that it would have to, let's say, a family, etc. The extension to their home in this particular formation would have.
Right.
Yes, it will encroach further into their garden by approximately 1.5 meters, etc. But they have a newborn baby.
Right.
Where is this child going to play, etc.
Right.
We give context to these things. So you take a bit, you have to gain something, you have to lose something, etc.
Yeah.
Again, to have a new building, you have to lose flat land. There is how much flat land in London is there, but to have a new building, we're just going to fill the plot, for example. To gain something, you have to lose something. It's my job to make what we gain as amazing as possible. And because I am a service provider, I am doing it on behalf of somebody, so I want them to be happy. Everything I do is on behalf of someone else.
Yeah.
So the better job I do, the happier that person is in the long run.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. And do you see your profession progressing any ways little, I don't know, incorporation of AI or...
It's
you
probably
know,
what we touched on already when we're talking about eco-friendly methods of
so
construction.
that's what
I
you...
think
Okay.
the next big milestone in architecture will be modular construction. It will be make your building a kit of parts that can be assembled in a factory, almost take your whole flat, build it once, all together in isolation, sterile. Everything will be straight lines and pure. It will use the least amount of material as possible because it'll be the highest efficiency, the highest engineered piece.
Okay.
We stack all these pieces on top of each other on site via a crane or cranes or new variant of lifting machinery that currently doesn't exist because we might need it in the future.
Right.
To place these things, orientate them onto site and build the facade around them. It will almost be the most efficient, fastest method of construction that's ever existed.
Wow.
It's going to take us a while to get there. I've always compared the architecture design industry to the car manufacturing industry.
Right.
10 years ago, could you have found an electric car easily?
Yeah.
Now there's more charging spots around the
Yeah.
city than there are post offices, for example. It's that industry can build a new development, a new technology into a car. It can also afford to crash that car into a concrete wall 50 times and then make it available to us. To trial something in architecture, somebody has to pay millions and millions to have a building that is an experiment. It might not work the first time. The third one that we build will be perfect because we will learn from the mistakes. But mistakes in construction and mistakes in architecture are very expensive and semi-permanent.
Okay.
Let's say you've built your new building with a new hybrid form of concrete that you've used for your concrete frame.
Right.
Let's say that's meant to stand up for 150 years. We discover in 17 years that there's something wrong with this hybrid concrete that we've used. It's going to be there for about 150 years before we take it down. Otherwise, you won't get your return on investment, etc.
Okay.
It's one of these architecture is slow in its technological developments because for me to demonstrate to you, for example, that a new eco-friendly method of construction works, it might take us 2 years to build the thing.
Right.
If Tesla comes up with a new Tesla model, they will have it in front of you in about 3 months.
Yeah.
2 years versus 3 months.
Yeah.
So in 2 years' time, I've got my Mark 1. In 2 years' time, they've got their Mark 9.
Right. Okay.
We will get there eventually
Well,
because we have to. Otherwise, we're wasting time. We're burning carbon. We are destroying the planet.
Right.
The planet might look very pretty. The buildings will be amazing, but the environment will be screaming in pain because we are reaping from it in unsustainable fashion. So it's what when you're referring to eco-friendly methods of construction, we will get there. We get to eco-friendly methods of everything, eco-friendly methods of food production, etc. Everything will eventually get there because it would be illogical not to. You always have the option of getting in the spirit of vehicle manufacturer. You can always get a V10, Lamborghini, etc. You can burn all of the petrol that you want. There'll always be an option on the market. But for the most part, everybody else is just going to save the planet here. And then you'll go, the exceptional persons, characters, racetracks, etc. You're going to have fun with those traditional, trial and tested old machines, etc. But we're all going to travel forward. Otherwise, we'll never approach the era of flying cars if everybody just sticks with combustion engine. You have to invest in what's the next thing and then enjoy it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. Don't be scared of it.
And do you think anything is missing from your profession?
I would say, and it might be maybe something that's invisible to the general public, that there is a culture to architecture. It might be because it's similar to when we're discussing about architecture firms and the misconception that it's all the one-man show, the one person responsible. There will be projects that come out of firms that the guy whose name's on the door, he's never seen the project because he has 150 people that work for him. He doesn't draw on every single project. Architecture is competitive.
Right.
So these practices, they will have these names on these doors, and because it's your brand, it's your portfolio, you'll try very hard to be the best. But that, unfortunately, will create a culture of people overworking, people working sleepless nights, etc. The firm that I currently work at, there are no sleepless nights. None of us work excessively late hours, etc., or feel the force to do so, because it is unsustainable.
Yeah,
But there are loads of practices across the planet, not just locally to London. This happens in all types of countries, etc., where people will work unsustainable hours to apply an unsustainable level of effort. They will see their computer desk more than they see their children at home, for example, because they're striving to be the best and this competitive nature, which kind of loses the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Because you see yourself as an artist more than a cog in a machine. If you're an artist, you generate beautiful things when you feel like it, when it comes naturally to you. You'll try to do this painting rather than I must finish this painting by this time, or what's going to happen, etc. It's missing, like, it's almost like partially a care for the human being. And I don't hear the word beautiful used enough. There's I want people to zoom out a bit and try to strive towards the artistic part of our industry more so, because a lot of it will be profit charged. It will be how many projects have you got, how many cities have you got projects in, how tall is your project, who's got the highest floor level, etc. Where it's like, yeah, but who's got the most beautiful one? Let's have that debate, and let's enjoy that debate. Let's not fight each other. Let's say me and you are architecture firms. You got a really beautiful tower on the corner of Liverpool Street, etc. I'm going to try and make one that's more beautiful. I'm going to first of all ask you how you did it. Share knowledge. I don't want to destroy you. I want to catch up. And if I pass you, I want to help you pass me. Because I'm not going to be here for 150 years. I want the people who work under your name, under your brand, 200 years from now, to be making the Mark 7 of my Mark 1. If we don't celebrate the beautiful achievements of humans now, then we'll only hindering ourselves from advancements in technology. If we collaborate with each other, take care of each other, work in a sustainable way, care about people's mental health, their physical health, don't overwork people, take care of them as much as you want to, as you would take care of yourself, etc. This industry will progress way faster. It's almost like I'm saying, what is it missing? It walks on a crutch because we're all fighting each other. If one of us is on a crutch and we support each other, none of us are on a crutch. If anything, we're jogging. We'll get there faster.
I agree. I completely agree.
It's just I love shining a light on the most beautiful part of the machine, basically. If we all have to be a cog in the machine, at least let's make a flower. Just what's the point? Why not? You know, and it's one of those ones where we've done it in the past. We know we can make something beautiful. It's not like it's impossible. We can make very beautiful things that are also practically functional that people love. And they'll travel to the city to go and see that beautiful thing, etc. People go to Paris to see the Eiffel Tower, etc. They go to parts of Italy, etc. to see Leaning Tower of Pisa, or the 16 chapels, or the massive, I guess Russia politically is not acceptable to go to anymore, the massive, ornamented cathedrals that they would have lining the streets, or the channels of Venice, or the channels of Amsterdam, etc., and the leaning buildings that are surviving, hanging on. There's beautiful things that we've made, and we didn't have to fight each other to make them. They're demonstrations of what happens when humans work together. And I think too much now in society, humans don't work together.
Completely agree.
If they're working together, it's because they have to, and they're constantly scared that you might sue me, or you might tell the client that something I did is wrong, or I'm gonna blame you before they blame me, etc. And it's like, no, let's just work together. Let's work together towards a common goal. Especially in the construction industry, because it's not a one-man show. There's hundreds of characters who are necessary for making these things possible. So it's let's again zoom into the beautiful part, and let's plant the seed and water it. If we don't water the plant, it will die, and then we'll have to find a new seed.
No, for real, no.
We'll lose it, and we'll have to recreate it.
No, it's been absolutely a pleasure speaking to you, meeting to you, and just understanding the profession of architect and what they go through, and the collective approach. So I really appreciate your time. and your knowledge. And
Thank you very much.
yeah, thank you for joining, and thank you all for watching.